ba bum 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 ba. I don't know if I should be doing that loudly, Vic Henley. I'm in the backyard at Vic Henley's apartment on the Upper East Side in New York City on a crisp fall evening.
But it's 60 degrees, man.
I gave you your own mic.
I didn't realize that.
Yeah, you're not used to like.
I'm not. This is you went double fancy on the setup.
I was like, you know what? I've been doing this long enough. I think I'm going to give Vic his own microphone.
Wow. I feel like Anthony now. After all these years, I finally
you
got
hate
my
black
mic.
people?
I mean, no, not.
Hey,
oh,
we're just kidding. Just kidding.
I like an opening hand grenade. It's always good.
I love it back here, man. I had an apartment in New York City where we did have outdoor space like this. Nothing beats it.
I have electric and water, so
yeah.
I can actually come out here and sit here and have morning coffee outside.
Beautiful.
But in between, you might get a little pigeon shit on you every now and then.
We're kind of
not really. We've killed most of them.
What do you mean you killed most of the pigeons?
We had a bad problem a few years ago in between the buildings. You can't see over there, but somebody that traveled a lot let them put a nest under their window unit that stuck out. Now, once they make the nest, they're coming back for 100 years.
Yes.
And she's gone, and we're touching base with email and phone. We can't, get them out, and they're babies, and they're out there screeching. And the president of the co-op lives next door, and he goes, and everybody's mad. And they're trying to figure out, should they put up the spikes?
Right.
You do the fake owls.
Yeah.
I'm like, I got a BB pistol. And so I'm already on the roof coming down the fire escape. I'm going to shoot them. Nestled in pretty good, so it's ricocheting off the ding, 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 ding.
You were shooting pigeons in New York City?
I'm trying to. Off my roof. And I was 0 for my first 15 shots. I said, let me go let Judd in. Hang on. But my neighbor calls me. He goes, okay, I know what you're doing because we've talked about this, but there's 1,000 buildings around us that could call the police right now and go, there's a man on the roof with a pistol.
Oh, my God, you're crazy.
And I went, I never thought of that.
Yeah, of course.
Because it was a BB pistol. It was
you still have that Southern in you.
Well,
I love
anyway,
it.
Then I scaled down the fire escape and took a broom handle and raked the nest out.
Yeah.
And then beat the babies to death. And then the parents came back later that day, and then I shot them with the pistol, and then they're all gone. There's only one tree left where they could sit here and poop on us, and so
you beat baby pigeons
absolutely,
to death?
they're vermin.
What do you mean they're vermin?
They're vermin. Well, unless you want to make pate out of them. But hang on.
All right.
Hang on. Let me let Judd in. He's been on a beer run for you for 20 minutes.
I understand. I wanted one beer and it became a thing.
It did because you
I know. And Judd is Vic Henley's neighbor. But anyway, in there, hey, you can enjoy a New York City siren as Vic Henley lets Judd in. Podcast noises. I'm kind of creeped out that Vic Henley just admitted that he beat baby pigeons to death after trying to shoot them from the roof of his building with a BB gun. Oh, my God. I can't kill anything. What's up, Judd?
What's up?
We're in the middle of podcasting, man. Right, and Vic Henley just told a horrific story about killing baby pigeons. I don't think you could kill anything with the word baby in front of it, Vic.
Okay.
Baby
cobras, baby anaconda, baby anything. Dead.
I mean, I felt very guilty when I was trying to get mice out of my apartment when I was infested.
No.
And they got stuck on the glue traps.
Yeah.
I pretty much broke down in tears. It was so damn depressing. And you're out here beating baby pigeons.
Well, if we want to stick with, I think I've told this story to you before.
Yeah.
Speaking of the glue trap, my first apartment by myself, I had a mouse. And I've been there about a year, and I'm watching football on Sunday, and he comes out of the closet, he runs right along the wall, and he dives in the box of the air conditioning. Everybody's got a window unit, unless you're, rich like you. So he's disappearing, and I'm sitting there, and I'm so lazy, I watch him all Sunday run back, and he stays right against the wall. And the closet is sealed off. I'm telling you, Houdini couldn't have got out of this closet.
Right.
So after about the fourth run, I take everything out of the closet. There's not a crack there. I mean, it is pristinely sealed, and he ain't in there.
Yeah.
And so I go, well, I'll go get a glue trap. So I put it on his path and went to bed. About 3 o'clock in the morning, I heard, eep, 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 eep. And I went out there and turned the light on. There he is. And I was so happy. I brought him straight up to eye level, and I'm like, you motherfucker, you're about to fucking die.
Wow.
And then I went over and I opened the window.
Yeah.
I lived above. I was 3 floors up. But there was a restaurant that had a big roof garden in the back. I really wanted to throw him out the window gently and hoped he would drift down and land with the glue trap flat.
Yeah.
And then I was going to watch him out the window die over the next 3 or 4 days.
Oh, my
And then, because I knew bad weather was coming, I knew. And every day I'd wake up, I'd get my coffee going. I watched it turn into just a rotting bone carcass. And it made me so happy.
That makes you happy?
Well, because he taunted me for like a month.
Yeah,
it was on for a month. And I know it's a mouse, and I know it doesn't matter. But first of all, I was just happy that I helicoptered him down gently.
Yeah.
Then he lands, and then I'd leave town, I'd come back, and it was just a little mini dinosaur mouse bone exhibit.
That was what was
so
left.
Great.
It's so funny.
So great.
This reminds me of a few things, Vic Henley. So, one of Dennis Leary's bits that he stole from Bill Hicks.
Probably. Depends on which one.
Because you said it was just a mouse and it doesn't matter. And Dennis Leary has that famous bit about we only save the cute animals. Right? So, but
not in this case. They're all vermin. But if you're vermin, you're vermin. You're on the level. You're on the tree of vermin.
Yeah.
I don't care if you're a deer, a snake. Some snakes are helpers. I'll switch it.
Yes, they are. But after that horrific killing baby pigeon story, I was thinking you were going to go somewhere else with the mouse, like it became your pet.
No.
Because I had one mouse.
That's what you're thinking of the sugar gliders.
Well, yeah, of course.
That's the exception to the rule.
Of course. But I had a mouse in my apartment, and my first thought was, I'm going to keep it as a pet. My thought wasn't to kill the thing until I realized I was infested, and then all bets were off. Now we have to play out this war in my apartment.
Now my neighbor Kathleen, who has a PhD, is a professor at Columbia. She always tells me that if it's better to have mice than rats because they don't live together.
Yeah, I know.
I didn't know that one.
I heard that.
She's the one, and then yes, right. Now my mice thing goes back to, again, I'm sure I've told you this. The original mouse story is we had one in our house when I was a kid, and so Mike and Terry are gone, so I'm probably about 9. Yeah. No, I'm probably about 10. It doesn't matter, but and we see him just like the one in my story, and it's driving my mother insane. And she said the glue trap didn't exist back then, so she's setting up the old school traps everywhere, and she's listening, and he made a mistake, and he got trapped in the air vent that's above the stove. Right. You know, where you turn the fan on.
Of course.
There's like a little tube thing.
Of course.
And I thought I told you this.
No, I haven't heard this one.
So she hears him beep, 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 just like my story. It's the middle of the night. It's just me and her.
Yeah.
And she goes, oh, my God. She's been after him for 3 weeks, just like me. And so she goes, get a pillowcase. And go from the things that are rag. Go to the rag pile and get something she's about to throw away. So I grab this old pillowcase. And I walk in the kitchen. We got all the lights on. She's got a screwdriver. She's taking the fan apart. Yeah. And she's making me hold the pillowcase beneath it. And she goes, now look, when this screw falls out, the unit's going to fall into the pillowcase, and so will the mouse. Yeah. And he can't climb it because it's cloth.
Sure.
And so, sure, click, last screw, bang, there he is. Now we got him. She reaches right down in there, pulls out the piece, and puts the screw back that goes with the stove. Yeah. And he's in there, and he's scrambling. And I'm looking at him. He's just adorable. He's just a little mouse. And so here we go outside. She doesn't say a word. And so I'm just watching. She walks straight to the front door, unlocks everything, goes outside. Our garbage can's right there at the end of the driveway. Yeah. I'm just traipsing along behind her. And I think at one point, I really believe she's going to turn him loose in the yard or do something. Sure. No. Right when you get close to the garbage can, she winds up the pillowcase 3 times, whack, right on the concrete, big blood splat. Another whack, like opens up the garbage can and drops him in. She's like, I'm like, all right, let's go to bed. Problem solved. Don't come into my house mousing around.
You guys are a violent family.
Well,
at this point, we got to say hi to Judd, who's Vic Henley's neighbor. What's up, Judd?
What's up, brother?
Hey,
How are
man,
you?
How are you? Good. Thanks for the Modelo, by the way. I appreciate it.
Not a problem.
Can you relate to what Vic was saying?
Well, I think it's kind of funny. The smashing the mouse with the pillowcase is way more humane than what Vic did with the mouse trap. He was more into the long, elongated death.
Right.
I mean, shit, in college, man, at A&M, I had just like a crappy house with rats everywhere. It was a constant thing.
Yeah.
You know, so I just dealt with all the rats and replastered all the shit. And all that. But, I mean, they were mammals. I mean, these were large animals. Ran in between my feet when I was standing in the kitchen one day. Oh, yeah, the whole thing.
Yeah, rats are scary. My brother lived kind of up in this area, Vic, a little further north when he first got out of college, and he was sharing one of those shitty apartments with 3 or 4 other guys. It was only a 1-bedroom, and they were tough rugby guys, and they were infested with rats. And my brother would tell the stories where they would come home from the bars and then go to battle with the rats, and it turned into a sport for these guys. They would break out the frying pans or whatever, they get baseball bats, and they were really into hunting rats in their 1-bedroom apartment.
I had a thing where one of the rats that I caught.
I got 80 of these. I got 800 of these. Trust me.
One of the rats that I caught on a glue trap there, it was like the glue trap wasn't big enough, so it was like full on alive and just stuck. Well, I had a big, like, rubberized water dish from my dog in the backyard. I was like, fuck, I'm just going to drown the fucker.
Oh, nice.
And I turned it upside down.
Nice.
And it's, like, thrashing. And then I'm like, oh, shit. And my dog's just looking the whole time. He's, like, in his water bowl. But then I just, like, put my hand on it. And I'm like, go to sleep. Right. Go to sleep.
But you turned his food, his water bowl into the gas chamber.
The whole time. Like, yeah, shit. That was a constant thing.
My brother Mike had been kicked out of every apartment complex on Valley Avenue in Birmingham, Alabama. He's at his 9th one because he was always just fudging on the rent and getting kicked out. So now he's down at the worst one ever. But he's still, because they've let him in somehow, he decides they're going to have a big pool party, barbecue and everything. So they've invited the whole crew down, go to the thing, bought a bunch of food, came back, everybody's drinking, splashing, carrying on, having a great time. They realize they're out of bun. They got everything, but they don't have the buns.
Yeah.
And so all the food's put away. He's like, oh, my God. So he sends so-and-so to the store, come back. They're all in there dancing around, carrying on. An hour or so goes by. And he was, well, I guess we ought to get the grill going and make some of this food, So they go back in, and when the dude went back and got the buns, he didn't put them in the fridge or nothing. He just walked down and laid them there on the kitchen table. But I mean, 3 18 packs.
Oh, wow.
Because there's 40 people. It's going to be a big, All of them have been torn into, and not little mouse nibbles. Like a dog got on the table and ripped giant baseball-sized holes in every one of these. And there's rat shit all over everything. So they call it exterminator. The guy comes over there. My brother loves telling this story. Classic Mike Henley. He goes, hillbilly guy, coveralls, the whole thing, with his canister of death on his back, right. All kinds of traps in a van. It was Orkin. Well, all I can tell you is a rodent that's capable of biting this big of a hole and getting to this up on the. These rodents can lick 6 feet in the air and bite a human being on the face. I don't know if I'd continue with your barbecue. All I know is a rodent this large is capable of jumping. So now they're like, everybody out.
Right, of course.
Party's over.
Party's over.
They had to go 2 apartments down and stay with somebody else, so they came in there and tried to fumigate and nitrogen bomb them.
Oh, my God. I can't kill things. And I'm a big fisherman.
Sure. Well, the catch and release is cool.
Yeah, but
my brother Mike is the same guy. Mike's a fisherman, and unless you're going to eat, and if you eat it, they're delicious.
But then I feel bad when I get a keeper, and I'm like, "Fuck, man! I'm sorry that you're over 28 inches."
Sure.
And I always bring them to my neighbor because he don't give a fuck.
Oh, sure.
I don't fillet my own fish. I don't gut them. I do nothing because I can't do it.
Have you ever done it?
When I was a kid, yeah.
Yeah, me too. And
when I was a kid,
I knew how to do it.
But now that I'm older, I know fish. They don't have eyebrows and they don't blink.
None of that.
But you still look into their fish eyes, and you do see like
they're cold,
life.
dead fish eyes.
You see
like
life.
A doll's eye.
Right.
Like a doll's eye.
But my fishing buddy out there, Arnie, I'll give him a little plug. He likes when I talk about him on the podcast. He has no problem. He's a lot older than us. And he'll slice the striped bass so it starts bleeding out. And then in front of everybody, he don't give a fuck who's around, if it's kids or whatever, he'll pull the gills right out of the fish and goes, I'm doing that so it doesn't suffer. And I'm like, what?
So it's not, he's, right, okay.
He's yanking the gills.
He's not cleaning a dead fish. This is how he starts to clean the dead
he's
fish.
trying to kill it as fast as possible by ripping gills out of the fish.
So let's just take the lungs right out.
Yeah, and other fishermen will tell you that is a good way to do it, but it's horrific to watch, to say the least.
Cleaning a regular fish is horrific to watch sometimes, I think. I can't imagine this.
I'm embarrassed to tell you this one.
Uh-oh.
I don't even like killing bugs.
Well, okay.
I don't like killing bugs unless I have to.
Depends on what kind of bug.
Well, it's usually
roaches, flies.
All that. A spider.
I'll kill a roach and a fly. I'll let a spider go.
What's the difference?
Because it's, first of all, it's not an insect. It's an arachnid.
Right, fair enough. I forgot you.
If you're cool enough to be in your own group, I'm going to give you special consideration.
Future Jeopardy champion.
If you're just you,
okay,
I'll give you your uniqueness, and we'll consider If you're a poisonous spider, maybe.
Cockroaches are creepy.
You got to, yeah.
Cockroaches are fucking creepy when you see them. But yeah, my wife's always like, she's freaked out about bugs, and I'm like, oh man. And then I try to catch and release spiders. I'm a lunatic.
Well, that's okay. That's okay.
You think?
That. Yeah, that's not bad. I've heard of that before.
Yeah.
I also like when the person that's so scared finally does it, and they got one trapped in the corner, and you got the whole can of bug spray.
Yeah.
And you sprayed so much on it, it's floating. It's literally like, I believe you got it. I think.
Right.
Once you got it trapped in the corner, right. Was all you need. Now he's doing the backstroke and poison.
Right.
It's not time.
Did I ever tell you the bat story?
Oh yeah. I think. Oh my God. Hang on. We got Judd trapped or something.
All right.
I've got a bat story from a college campus.
Yeah.
That comes back to 2 years later. Same bat came to see me again.
How do you know it was the same bat?
He brought a friend.
Okay.
That's the teaser.
Do we have to get Judd again?
I guess so. I don't know. He's going. I'm telling you, he went somewhere.
All right. Vic Henley's going to get Judd. Judd was just here. He brought me a Modelo, and then he took off again, and now Vic had to jump up to get Judd. Judd's becoming very problematic as far as this podcast goes. And you went and got your own microphone?
That's what I told you. I said I got a microphone.
Oh, all right.
Here, I got a big one.
What? This Judd is very problematic, man.
Well, I am. He is.
So I got to explain. I'm in Vic Henley's backyard, as you know. We established that with the killing of the baby pigeons and everything else. And Judd went to the corner to get a beer because I needed one beer, but I didn't need it that bad. And he came back with a Modelo, which was nice. Then he tells a cute little story. Then all of a sudden he gets up, and we don't know where he went. No, you gave me some kind of like sign, and I just agreed with whatever hand signal you were giving me. I didn't know what it meant, though. And then next thing you know, Vic goes, "That's Judd again." He gets up. And it turns out that Judd's like, fuck this, I'm getting my own microphone. So he's got his own microphone because I only brought two because I thought it was just going to be me and Vic. Right. Where were we? All right, so I got a bat story. This goes back many, many, many years. I was living in Huntington, Long Island, and I was with my ex at the time, and things weren't going that well, so I started like sleeping on the couch.
Ooh.
And I also started pleasuring myself on the couch.
Why wouldn't you?
And, to pleasure myself, I would put some porn on the TV.
Okay.
Because it was before you could get so much porn on your phone.
Right. So you had to go on the TV.
The porn on the phone was just beginning, but barely, right? So you had to go back to the TV. You had to go old school. So I'm watching porn, and I'm taking care of myself, and she obviously was tiptoeing to see what the fuck I was up to because I had no time. No time. So I quickly was able to cover up my boner and turn the TV really quickly, and it landed on NASCAR. And she looked at me.
Vroom, vroom.
Vroom, vroom. She looked at me. She could see the blank. It was a little weird. And then she looked at the TV. She knows I don't watch NASCAR.
Okay.
Turned back to me and said, "You pig." And walked out.
She knew you just clicked over. Yeah. She Sherlock Holmes just. She put it could only be that.
Wow, way to go, Einstein. You figured that one out. Yes.
I thought she was going to think that you really had a queer thing for NASCAR.
Yeah.
Oh, turn left.
Tailpipe.
Turn left.
Tailpipe. Dale Jr. Dale Jr. Oh, my God. Somebody please. Pit stop.
I love you, Dale.
So
Cale Yarbrough me.
So the same house
that was really good.
with the same girl. I'm on the couch again. Different night. And all of a sudden I'm sleeping on the couch and I feel a presence in the room above me. Okay? And I couldn't figure out who it was. It was really dark. And I slept. I'm like, what the fuck? It's just your imagination. I wake up in the morning to see a bat in the corner of the room. So obviously, what I saw above me on the he was just circling like NASCAR. He was taking his left turns. So I'm like, fuck, I got to get this bat out of my house. So I went old school fire extinguisher.
Ooh.
Thinking this can't be that bad, right? But it was one of those powder fire extinguishers that turns everything fucking white.
Yeah.
And I completely destroyed my house trying to get this. Well, because I read somewhere if you use a fire extinguisher, it'll stun them, and then you'll get a chance. Then you're supposed to take a pillowcase or a towel and get him out of the house. But this thing wasn't getting stunned by my fire extinguisher and the powder. So like a movie, I was just destroying my house trying to stun this damn bat to get him out of the apartment.
There's a lot of those. There's just like, even if it's an insect, there's a million stories of somebody knocking drywall. They thought they finally narrowed that cockroach down in the middle of the wall, and they got a hammer or a shoe, and it's just too and now massive hole in the drywall, and still cockroaches.
Oh my God, I haven't seen Vic since Pig Beach, which was a damn good time.
Ooh, I ate so much food. That was so good.
I was too busy podcasting. I didn't eat one fucking bite.
I was with you for a second, and then everybody kept elbowing me out, and I'm like, hey, really? Okay, I don't need to talk anymore. I talked too much already. Let me go have another pork slider or 3 kinds of wings or a hamburger. Isadori made like 500 hamburgers in one day.
Oh, I know. Everyone was enjoying the food.
Crazy.
I was just trying to capture as much of the memorial as possible for our pal Carl.
Mom. I never knew that was his mom. I talked to George for a second, but that was his mom.
Yeah, that was his mom. That was Carl's mom.
What's her name?
Who brought the house down? I don't know. I just called her Carl's mom the whole time.
Okay, well, fair enough.
But that's what I do with my friends' moms.
Sure.
I call them.
No, that's cool, right?
I would call your mom Vic's mom.
You know, my friend, my older brother Terry's one of his teammates, James Owens. His wife's name's Gloria. And since I was 7 till 50 years, hey, Terry's brother. My mom's name's Gloria, too. Yeah, because I always tease him about being the 2 Glorias. And I saw her a year ago, hey, Terry's brother.
Still, to this day. But I'm kind of glad the memorials are over.
Oh, buddy, me too, man.
I'm kind of glad. I mean, it's time to let our friend go and allow it to become something else.
Into the mystic, as Van Morrison.
Into the mystic. Very good. Say, yes. Because Carl dies on September 21st. And I knew that you were in the same boat as me. We knew this was not going to be a quick one. That we had a lot to do.
Oh, true.
We had a lot to accomplish.
Yes, and you did better than I did. I had gigs. Well, I had gigs that were already on the books, and there were certain things I couldn't do. But still,
I'm just kind of glad that Pig Beach was the final one. It was everything from Miami. Then it was Gebhardt's. Then it was La Cubana.
Yeah.
Then it was California.
West Coast, right.
And then it was Brooklyn.
Yes.
All absolutely. For one fucking guy.
That's true. Right.
Well, I mean,
people are still going to randomly bring shit up. I hope so, anyway.
Oh, no, of course. That's what we hope.
But the giant wake again and again and again.
Dude, I mean, I thought I had all the crying done. And then you're in Brooklyn, and then you see people for the first time, and then you're like, fuck, I got to go backwards again.
Right. I know.
I know that sounds very selfish, but...
What a selfish person.
Okay.
I'll go back and play it. I'll play it sober this time. The video of me doing this to you drunk is absolutely hilarious.
I love that.
I know.
Angry Vic.
It's bad. It's really bad.
Angry Vic is my favorite.
You captured Vic on point. Like at that time of night, it might be that. Yeah, you captured it perfectly.
I was at that dive bar, and he had a Christmas party or something, and he met me and Carl, and we were doing Facebook Live back then, and he came in with a machine gun. Oh, yeah. He looked at us like we were baby pigeons.
Living underneath an air conditioner illegally in my co-op.
Oh, my God.
What's up, Vic?
See? Well, I'm hanging out with celebrities.
David Brenner just died.
Yeah, we know David Brenner.
I don't care. Fuck him.
Right.
Yeah.
Good answer.
You didn't think he was funny?
That's his act. We just did his act. Big girl.
People are saying Vic sounds tipsy.
Oh, I'm hammered. Are you kidding me? Kevin Brennan really believed that he was working at a car wash.
I love Kevin Brennan.
Right. So he's like, hey, Opie's working at a car wash. I'm like, no, he's not.
No, he's not. I couldn't believe they were taking all that shit so seriously.
Well, you're not a good person.
We were literally...
You're not a good person. You're not a good person. You've never been a good person. I can call 11 people right now on my phone.
Absolutely.
Maybe.
He got you.
I'll give you that. I'll give you that. Because every now and then I go, I'm sorry if that was too mean. He's like, nothing too mean. He's the first person to tell you.
point guard.
Yeah.
Point guard extraordinaire.
Yeah, he is the best.
No, he would actually, you know, if
nobody runs a show
I
like
ever
that.
had it down where we're not filming somebody in the bathroom. And I was taking biology in high school, and the teacher comes up to me and goes,
"What's biology in high school in Alabama? Is it just a
it means, no, it means, yeah, don't fuck your sister." Celine Dion, bad
Dion
guy.
is
What about Alanis
she's
Morissette?
a pile of shit. She's a pile of shit.
Celine
She
Dion's a
smothered
pile of
with
shit?
fucking pillow.
She
No,
sang the best song in the
she's
Titanic. The
fucking
Titanic is the
awful.
best movie ever.
She's the worst. She may be the worst candidate ever.
Why? Gave her husband cancer. You know that, right?
Because there's no lyricism, there's no writing, there's no, and I don't even, and I'll give her the voice, but I'll put the fucking, well then we get the voice of the voice. We don't fucking need that.
And I got fired over it. So they're like,
Well, you're an
"No,
asshole, so everybody knows
we
that."
really want.
I'm gonna, if you're leaving the door open, I'm taking it. If you're leaving the door open, I'm taking it.
I love.
I'm not giving up.
Angry
If
Vic
that's not
is
angry.
in full effect.
If you're leaving the,
I love you.
In the meantime, Carl's coming to my house for dinner tomorrow night.
What is that about?
And you're not invited.
Angry Vic. What are you talking? You just made that up.
Of course. I'm not even home tomorrow.
I missed you, man. I really did.
Hey, fuck, I wish I could say the same about you two.
Where's Canada?
This works. Ah! There you go, loser.
I kind of miss
No, I'll give you.
I'm going to give you the.
No, I'm not bad. I'm not a bad person.
I don't know. We don't know sometimes.
Then fuck both of you.
And I like that. I like that you like Sessions.
Oh man,
I got to give credit.
You
to,
gave me,
No,
tell
I
me
got to
about
give
it.
credit to Matt Farrer from the Smoking Tire.
That's who brought it up.
He knows I'm a music guy, not like you. Vic Henley is the
No,
king. No, in our group, you're the king.
Yeah.
No one comes close to your music knowledge. But it's called Sessions. I forgot his fucking name. But basically, they take the individual tracks of a lot of great songs that you know and breaks it down. He starts with the drums. This is the drums from Been Caught Stealing, let's say, from Jane's Addiction.
Right.
And he plays the whole drum track and kind of
isolated.
Oh, nice.
Isolated,
Okay,
kind of takes you through what kind of beat they're doing and this and that, and really breaks it down. And then he's like, okay, now this is the bass line. You hear the whole bass line. That's it from Jane's Addiction. And then he's like, all right, let's put the bass and the drums together. And then you get to hear, those two working off each other. And then he's like, okay, now we're going to add the guitar. But first it's isolated. And then you hear the guitar, which sounds nothing like when you hear the song.
Right,
That's what's so weird about when they put these things together. And then finally, he tells a little story about the dog, and Been Caught Stealing. It starts with the dog bark. It turns out that's Perry Farrell's.
It was Perry Farrell's dog.
Perry Farrell's dog that he just happened to bring to the studio that day, and it was barking. And they're like,
We got to get this in.
Yeah, I love the behind-the-scenes stuff.
Absolutely.
Because you think they plan stuff like this, and it turns out, no, the dog's in the studio barking its ass off. They're like, let's put it on tape. And then they add it in the song, and it works perfectly, obviously.
Awesome.
It's a Christian James Hand.
Oh, thank you.
Is the guy's name. Christian James Hand.
Yes.
And it's like pop-up video on triple steroids.
Yeah.
Because
I bet that's cool once he finally gets.
No, it's sweet.
enough of
It
the
really
instruments
is.
Together,
It's
then you
amazing.
hear it.
Dude, it is.
He dropped this on me, and I'm like, oh, my God. Yeah.
And then Perry Farrell's vocal track isolated, and you're like, what the fuck, this guy could sing. And then they put it all together, and now you're really pumped to hear the whole song. But when you hear the individual tracks, you're like, you can't believe that's from the song.
No,
sometimes.
some of it doesn't even,
Some
yes.
of it sounds like a completely different song.
Well, it's like that Gomer Pyle episode.
I'm lost. Help me out.
Sorry, I snorted myself. There's a Gomer Pyle episode where he joins the Marine Corps band.
Yeah.
And he's playing the tuba. And so, and he's all happy and he's excited, and they're going to do a big concert and march and play these, patriotic marching songs.
Right.
And Gomer Pyle's telling Sergeant Carter, and he's like so happy. And he goes, well, play me some of it. What does it sound like, So he runs and gets his tuba, and he comes back. He's so excited. And he goes, he does this for like too long. And Sergeant Carter's like, that's it.
That's all you got.
And Gomer goes, well, while I'm doing this, he goes, everybody everybody else is going.
That kind of explains Sessions perfectly. That's funny. Exactly. And are we saying Perry's last name wrong? Is it Perry Farrell? Perry Farrell, right?
I always said Farrell. I always said Farrell. I never, but it's probably it's two R's and two L's.
Do you remember what his original name is? And he's from Queens, New York.
No.
Fuck,
oh,
we
this
might
is
have to
be
look
good.
it up.
Come on.
It's a Jewish name. I'll never get it. I'll never get it. It's his original name.
Israel Rabinowitz.
His original name. Look it up for real. It's fucking insane.
Hiram.
And then he changed it to Perry Farrell as in peripheral.
Oh.
He was working off the name peripheral.
I
learned that from Sessions as well.
Oh, I did. I remember. You're right.
Yeah.
The Lemmy. The Lemmy.
Well, the Motorhead one?
Yes.
That was the one I didn't want to do because I'm not a huge Motorhead fan, although I love Ace of Spades. And that breakdown was really cool too, man.
Man, I'm gonna have to check that out. That sounds cool.
Really, really cool. Actually, I'm gonna find Lemmy's isolated vocals on Ace of Spades. You got to hear this.
Well, what I was going to tell you earlier.
For him to think he was actually a singer, but you know. I'm not.
When you put it all together.
Yeah, none of us are going to question it because Motorhead was, obviously huge, but
Peretz Bernstein.
Peretz,
Peretz, born Peretz Bernstein.
I told you. Is that an amazing original name?
That's crazy.
Or is it parrots?
Well, that's where the Perry comes from. It could be parrots. I don't know. I'm not up on my.
I bet you his parents were pissed that he changed his name because they really thought about that.
Look what he named his kids are Hezron Wolfgang Farrell.
Yeah.
Then there's Yobel Bernstein Farrell.
Yeah.
Then Isidore, the Izzadore, Isidore.
Yeah.
Bravo Farrell. Man.
The last time I talked to Perry Farrell was we were in Boston at AAF, the only station that really rocks, and he was trying to promote his latest music festival. And he wanted everyone to camp all night long, which sounded awesome, and wait for the aliens. And wait for the aliens.
Well, because we'd make great pets.
Right.
You know, that's a porno for pyros.
Of course.
We'd make great pets. We make great pets.
But, no venue would allow him to, to have an all-night music festival waiting for the aliens. I used to love talking to that guy.
Oh, he's the epitome of colorful.
Of course.
He's colorful.
All right, really fast. I think I could play like 10 seconds of this. So this is Motorhead. It's Lemmy's isolated vocals on Ace of Spades. And
if you like to gamble, I tell you I'm your man. You win some, lose some, it's all the same to me. The pleasure is to play. It make no difference what you say. I don't show you greed. The only card I need is the Ace of Spades. The Ace of Spades.
And you put it to music, and all of a sudden it all makes sense, right? How amazing is that? I can't play anymore. They'll get pissed off on the old
That's
Apple.
amazing.
Yeah,
that's what they used to. That's what they used to aggravate Paul McCartney about. Was every now and then somebody would isolate Linda's vocals. All those years.
Oh my God!
And it was equally people. That was a thing, right? Wasn't it?
Yes. And people didn't believe it was real.
No, right.
And I guarantee some engineer actually took her out of the mix, but was still recording her.
Certainly.
It was god awful. You got to find it on YouTube.
It's an old school thing.
Wasn't it?
It was several of them. There was that. It was a bunch of them. Wings, when she was in Wings with them, and anytime once he put her in the band, somebody.
People thought that it was other Beatles members that hated Paul and just found someone to do this to make fun. But then it turned out it was real.
It was like a thing.
It was real.
You're just bullied into. No, I'm in the show. No, I'm on keyboards and I'm in the show. Yeah. Turn my microphone on, goddammit. I'm an American. Well, any of the time the pushy woman, there's always funny in rock and roll.
Yeah.
When I forgot, I think it was DC Benny told me a great show, and we've had him back when we were at Sirius and had money. He was DC was owning for Colin Hay,
right,
from Men at Work.
Oh, he was
who we had on.
Yeah, of
we
course.
had him on doing. He still tours. He's a great act. Go see him. Still a really good act.
Yeah.
And Benny was with him somewhere, and I think they were down in the Village, and he's just him doing his regular Colin Hay stuff, and he tells great stories, and he sings some Men at Work. He sings his original stuff. It's an easy, cool little acoustic show, most of it. But at the end, when he gets to go The Land from Down Under, while he's singing it, this chick jumps out from behind the stage dressed up like some kind of jungle bird and some kind of big leotard with a headdress, very kind of Amazonian, a lot of feathers and stuff. And she's during the during that part of the song, so she's dancing around, and so Benny's opened and he didn't have any other spot, so he stayed and watched the whole show. And this is the closer, so at the end they're getting paid in the back, and Benny looks at Colin Hay and goes, what's up with the... He goes, for a minute there, I didn't know. I thought that was an audience member that just... And he goes, no, it's my wife. She makes me do it. He freely admitted. He folded immediately. She was a dancer, and she thought the song needed an interpretive dance.
Oh, my God.
So,
His song.
His before he ever knew her.
Right, his huge hit. That probably bought him a mansion. We're talking about Down Under, the song Down Under by Men at Work. She decided that it needed a little something.
But still, dude sold out the show on his own merit. That's Colin Hay. Doesn't really right.
He never went away.
No,
See, for us older people, Men at Work was like massive in the 80s. And
Sure.
then we thought they had 2 albums.
Yes, Cargo and Men at Work.
And then they disappeared and retired or whatever. But it turns out that, especially Colin Hay, when Men at Work...
He never stopped, yes.
Yeah, when Men at Work broke up, Colin Hay never stopped and has put out albums every 2 years since
He's
the
a great
80s.
singer-songwriter guy.
And he came in and he had, like you said, he had great stories. He played like 3 or 4 songs for us. And his new stuff was awesome. Look up a song called Tumbling Down that me and Sherrod... I want to say Carl was in studio that day, and we all did a sing-along.
Oh, nice.
I
was there one day with him, I know for sure.
It was awesome, man. Absolutely awesome.
No, he's a talented dude.
But make sure you check out Sessions, where they just break down a lot of songs that you know and love, and some songs you don't give a fuck about. But then after you listen to Sessions, you'll really get an appreciation for the artistry.
Sure.
I did Don't Fear the Reaper, too. Did you do that one?
No. No.
With Buck Dharma?
No, I did not.
Who's the actual singer of...
I don't know that one.
Oh, come on. Blue Oyster Cult. They had a true lead vocalist.
No, I know. I
and then Buck Dharma goes to band practice one day and goes, I don't know, I had this dream. And, and it was Don't Fear the Reaper. Right. The day before they were recording, he comes in with Don't Fear the Reaper. Like, I don't know, you guys might want to listen to this. It's something that came to me in a dream. And it becomes their biggest song.
Sure.
And he sang it. And he wasn't even officially the vocalist at the time. And I think he has the two biggest songs that Blue Oyster Cult ever did. Oh, I forgot the original. Eric Bloom?
Keep going. Yes, there you go. That is. I think that's it.
All right.
That is. He's checking.
Oh, you got it too? So
there's 2 of them.
So
Les
Eric
Brunson,
Bloom. Eric Bloom was the official singer of Blue Oyster Cult, and then Buck Dharma out of nowhere comes in with Don't Fear the Reaper, and he also did Burning for You, I believe. They're 2 biggest fucking hits.
I still remember Spade getting in trouble during 35 years ago when he's 2 years into comedy. I'm like 3 months.
Yeah.
And on open mic nights, he would go. He had the theme at Auschwitz was I'm burning a Jew.
Oh my God.
Young, like 21-year-old David Spade. And he's like, I don't think I should do it. And all we're like, do it.
Right.
You gotta
Just do it.
You gotta do it. Come on.
Wow. That whole cowbell thing ruined the song for Blue Oyster
I agree.
Cult.
I totally.
It completely mocks the song now, and that song is really deep.
Well.
What's the top 5 cowbell songs of all time? Give us a call. Pew, pew, pew.
The winner gets coupons at Chili's on Tuesday. 2 for $1 garlic fries.
Oh, I don't miss doing that horse shit. Not at all.
Will Ferrell was on The Tonight Show the other night, and he said that Christopher Walken, and he's seen him a couple times since then, and he comes up to him and says, that song ruined me.
Yeah. Yeah.
Deer Hunter, every wonderful Pulp Fiction. That's what Will Ferrell said. Everything that he's done, they come up to him and say more cowbell.
That's absolutely
so that's
how it works.
The main go-to for that guy.
That's how it fucking works, right?
Certainly.
Fucking Christmas right around the corner.
Oh, God.
Did you see the Santa story?
Which one?
The PC culture has come. You saw it too?
I saw it, yeah.
Santa shouldn't be it shouldn't be a male.
It shouldn't be gender specific.
It shouldn't be gender specific, yes.
You should explain to him about Black Santa. He probably does not know.
What about Black Santa?
At Macy's, there's a Black Santa, but you have to know about it and ask for him specifically.
Oh, we did that story.
Did you not know this?
Wait a minute.
This was on Channel 7, the news. This was on the local news, ABC affiliate.
So kids don't feel left out. you could request a black Santa, but you got to do it ahead
You have to know
time.
about it. It's like a secret.
Okay, because he's in the back.
Yeah, he's somewhere.
He's not out in the front anywhere
I
where you can
know,
just go over to that
but you
part
gotta
of the
go get him.
store.
No, the black Santa's unloading trucks.
And then they go,
until
Carl, put the suit on.
right, until he's
Right.
needed, and you know he's not happy about it. God damn it!
Tayshawn,
Right.
get your ass.
Poor guy probably didn't get paid any extra for it. He's like, God damn it.
You know, but how far do we go? Because, all right, I honestly get the black Santa thing to a point. Like, okay, you know,
Sure.
your kid's black, and you want him to sit on a black Santa's lap. I could see that. But now, not to be gender specific.
Well, I mean,
when
I
we
think-
grew up knowing that Santa had a fucking beard.
And a wife, Mrs. Claus. So it's, you know,
Right. But who
pretty
is
common, straightforward scenario.
But who is triggered because Santa's a male?
Yeah, who's upset? I don't know. Right. I can't even begin to.
And then I've learned that you can't even see Santa at the mall anymore unless you pay.
No.
They used to strong arm you with the buy the pictures
Yes, right,
crap, but you would
right.
quickly get your camera out and hope you got a good picture
Sure.
while they're taking their pictures.
Certainly.
So then, you know, they would make their money that way. But now I'm hearing you got to actually pay to have your kids sit with
No.
Santa.
Wow.
And that doesn't include the pictures.
Santa's got a cover
Oh, it's
chart.
not- it doesn't
And they
include
have a
the-
fast pass.
No, they don't.
They have a fast
no,
pass.
this is not true. None of this is
Well, because they want you to wander around the malls that are dying and buy something.
That's true. Okay,
and then,
I got you.
And then your
I
fast pass or
understand.
whatever it is, like I guess like if you go to Chili's and you get that thing when it's time to get seated, maybe they give you one of those. I don't know what they're called. I wish Carl was here; he would tell us. And then that thing goes off, and then you know it's your turn to sit with Santa.
That is amazing.
God almighty.
But gender
Yes.
specific, we're getting down to that. All right, I got to remember the story. It was just told to me. I got we're doing some stuff in my house, and she told a story about her son who's going to college, but it didn't happen to her son. It happened to her son's friend. They have gender-neutral bathrooms.
Okay.
So the kid goes into a gender-neutral bathroom. So he thought,
All right.
does his thing.
Okay.
He comes out, and there's a college student waiting for him, a girl. I guess you're not allowed to say a girl, but it was a girl. And she maced him. Because it was a female gender-neutral bathroom. Yeah, we're really breaking this shit down.
That's hilarious.
So in this particular college, they have female gender neutral bathrooms, meaning if you identify as a female, you're allowed to use this bathroom. But no one else is allowed. If you identify yourself as a male, like us, you're not allowed to use the bathroom.
Even though it says gender neutral.
Yeah, but it's female gender neutral, I think.
Wow, man.
So she looked
That's
at
like
the
Honey
dude.
Nut Cheerios, Tic Tac Pumpkin Ale.
Right, yeah. So she looked at the dude and profiled right away and said, "There's no way this guy identifies as a female,
wait a
and you're
minute.
in the wrong bathroom."
Oh, my God,
and
and
maced the
maced him.
kid.
Jesus Christ.
Well, how does she know how that guy feels?
What do you mean?
Yeah, he might feel very female. That's
Yeah,
why he
well,
walked
of
in there. She don't know.
well,
She
of course.
profiled
Just
him.
profiled him, right?
Yeah, well, there's so much wrong with that story. Obviously, yeah,
right.
you're 100% right. You saw the protest at the Yale Harvard.
Well, this is I've recently this is about to go in my show because yes, and I
Can
don't
we
wanna,
get an exclusive?
Well, it's not Kathleen Madigan, the comedian extraordinaire, saw this and sent me a text because I have a giant chunk about college football from a million different angles.
Sure.
It's long and it gets longer every year.
Yeah.
And she goes, "Did you see this?" And I said, "Yes." And she goes, "I hope you put in your act that this would have never happened in an SEC game because those protesters would have been murdered."
I had a Raiders joke about the same thing. I said, try that at an Oakland Raiders game.
Right here.
Yes.
No, snowplow right out of the way. Stormtroopers, whatever.
the game would be-
Billy clubs and tear
The
gas.
game would be delayed for 10
Right.
seconds
Right.
if it
As
happened at
soon
a
as
Raiders
the tear
game.
gas cloud clears up
right.
and we scrape these tree huggers
I
out of
tweeted
here.
about it. I said this. I said, "Look, can you believe in climate change and also hate those people that were stopping the Harvard Yale game?"
Absolutely.
Okay, good.
Yeah, that's
good.
that was Madigan's point.
Okay, good.
We can believe in that all day long. Hell yeah.
but,
you know.
but we could all agree, whether you agree on climate change or not, we could all agree that they're a bunch of assholes.
Yes. Right. Now you want now sort of on this topic. Judd will tell you he saw this this is on the too sensitive. Everything's too sensitive. You know. Everybody. Oh. Tell him about the town hall thing with Shay. You told me on the town hall. I can do it if you don't remember.
Well, I don't remember. Was her name like Shay?
Her name was Shay, but
Diamond.
no. Okay, really, I'll hijack this from you.
Go ahead.
He told me we had a gig together about a month ago, and one of the debates were on.
Yeah.
And he'd seen it. They go to the lady in the audience, and they put her name up on the thing on CNN. Going to ask whoever candidate, whatever, something, and Shea. That's her name. And so whoever the CNN moderator goes, okay, Shay from Norcross, Georgia, what do you want to say to Elizabeth Warren or whatever? And she goes, first of all, it's Shia.
Or like Shahi or something
Shia.
like that. Yeah.
She said Shia.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
But there was no, which would be SHE apostrophe A. But it's not. It's SHEA.
Right.
Shea Stadium.
Yeah.
Well, I live in New York. I can fucking read.
Yes. It's always been Shay.
So she cuts her off and goes, first of all, it's Shia. And I just got to tell you before I ask my question that when people mispronounce my name, I consider an act of violence against me personally.
Violence.
Violence.
That's right. Right.
An act of violence.
Another part to that is
well, then put a fucking apostrophe in there.
Yeah,
Shia.
right. She was African American and self-professed transgender, but she was arguing with Don Lemon. Don Lemon is the one who messed up her name, the CNN moderator. So she went in on him, like, to hell with it. Doesn't matter. You mispronounced my name, and that's violence against me, and I don't appreciate it. My question is...
Oh, my God. Why do we have to deal with this shit?
It's just
Violence against me personally. Don Lemon.
Violence. Yeah. Right.
I didn't tell you about New Orleans.
No.
Oh, man. It was wonderful. I was there for a weekend.
Wow.
I think I joined a funk band. I'm not sure. They're young.
But if you want to, live through like a zombie apocalypse, excuse me, you go to New Orleans for Mardi Gras. The level of drunkenness down there is insane, and everyone is on the exact same level and can barely function and communicate by the end of the night.
I got on the elevator, it stops, and a cop gets on.
Yeah.
Full on, it's a cop. It ain't security. He's a New Orleans police officer, and he's putting a dip in. And I go, well, I feel safe for these next 3 floors.
Yeah.
He started laughing. And I didn't ask him what he was doing, but I go, is this your beat out here? And he goes, yes, it is. I'm like, so you've walked Bourbon Street. I go, how long? He goes, 2 years. I go, God damn, just in 2 years, there's got to be a me. He goes, oh, there's countless.
Yeah.
I go, hey, you know what, man? Stop. Let me tell you something. I'm like, fuck a fireman's calendar or a police calendar. How about find the guy at the Picayune that writes the crime beat, gather all your cop friends together. It's called Tales from Bourbon Street. All the money goes to any police charity that you wanted to. Yeah. I'm handing you gold right here in the lobby.
No kidding.
And he looks at me, he's like, that's a goddamn good idea, Vic. He didn't say Vic, but he said that's a goddamn good idea.
If he was putting dip in, he was getting ready to crush in some skulls.
He's ready to focus.
I'm like, I was more focused on me.
Right.
Yes, he wasn't listening. I'm like, I'm handing you gold. He's like, yeah, another drunk fucker.
Like, all right, have a good night.
Yeah, just go join the funk band. Billy. My favorite, Baton Rouge, LSU's about an hour away.
Yeah.
Go down I-10. My favorite LSU story is years ago, 20, 30 years ago, we're at an Auburn LSU game, and carload of us, and my friend we're all hammered, and my friend has jumped the curb because it's all backed up, and he realizes if he just jumps the curb and goes over this little patch of grass, turns it the other way, then it's clean and green down the other way.
Yeah.
And we do it, and then here comes a cop on a horse behind us because it gets so jammed down in there that they do have them. And so we got pulled over in a car by a cop on a horse. He gets out. Swear to God. I was in the back seat. We're all shit-faced.
Why would you stop? I think out of principle you got to
because you don't run from the police.
No,
maybe on foot.
That.
I'm not even on foot. I'm gonna.
I understand all that, but you can't let a horse pull you over.
But the dude, he's tall. It's giant. We're in some little beat up like Mercury Bobcat, like right. 5 of us.
Right.
And he gets out and he comes over and he's like, "Come on!" And we're like, he goes, "Do I got to give you the whole test? You want me to just give you a ticket for jumping the curb?" And he's like, "Josh, all right, we were just jammed and we saw it was clear that way." And he goes, "Somebody in there is drunk. I could get all y'all out of there." And my friend in the back pulls his driver's license out, just sitting behind him, the driver's seat, sticks his arm out the window, tells the cop, he goes, "Just put this one on mine." And the cop even laughs. The cop, he's like, "It's not a credit card, dumbass." He goes, "Now, everybody out of the car." That's just,
that was it?
That was the signal. He was going to let us go.
Yeah.
And then that happened. He goes, "Everybody." And then right when we're all coming,
I think you got to let everyone go because that's such a funny, unique line.
Well, in perfect movie timing, in perfect movie timing, he got like his thing goes off, and he looked at us and he goes, It's your lucky day. We were literally opening the doors to get out. His radio went off, and he was lucky day, fuckers. Don't stop jumping curbs. And he galloped off somewhere else to something way more important than us. Just put this on mine.
That's a great line. That's a great line. I think if you're a cop, you got to let them go. I always thought, like, you know, we all try when we get pulled over, and I feel like if you give the cop a chuckle or an original line like that they should let you go, right?
I've always believed in that, but that's
because
not
I mean the cops have heard the same goddamn bullshit
if you
over
can make
and
them
over
literally
again.
get a
But
gut
if you
laugh
come up with something original
after they've heard a million, I agree, a million percent.
Come on.
Million percent.
Exactly.
Come on. What's your story about? Then you have did the cops come when y'all hit the cow? He's got a.
Oh well, no, they didn't come. That was how we got away with everything.
Oh, okay.
Wait, what happened?
No, that was in high school. We used to, small town, South Texas. We used to sneak out our parents' cars before we were 16 and drive all over town and pick up beer and like do whatever. So we go. Me and this good friend of mine. He comes over and then I take my parents' car out to his cousin's place out in the country. He's got his mom's with this guy, and it's like a stepdad, and he's a shitty person, and you know, just we need to get him out. You know,
bad relationship.
You know,
you
like
got to go get
terrible,
Ricky.
You know,
Right.
right. So we go over there.
That's one of those.
We drive out there, and I've got my parents like junker Pontiac, right? And so we get over there to pick him up. It was a brand new blue Camaro in the driveway, like when they became sleek, like the new like modern sleek, like the first time they became.
Sure, yeah.
And it just glowed. And I'm just like, oh shit. So we go to pick up his cousin, and I was like, hey dude, whose car is that? And he's like, oh, it's my stepdad's, blah, blah. I was like, well, let's sit in it. Like, you know, where are the keys? Like, so we can get in and sit. He's like, no, we'll sit in. So we go to sit in. Oh, I started the fucker up. I'm like, all right, we're going to take this car out. Actually, we pushed it down the driveway.
In neutral.
In neutral, right down to the stop sign. And the guy's like freaking out and shit. And I started up. I was like, fuck it, we'll just take it down and back. And then, no problem. So it's like a 2-lane highway that was like the old highway, and it's a little like this, and I just opened the fucker up. I'm like, I don't care. I think I was 14, something like that.
Jesus.
So I just open it up, and we're going, and me and my buddy are in the front, and his cousin's in the back, and we topped a little thing like that, and there's a fucking cow perpendicular to the road right there, broadside. There's no, like, when you grow up in kind of the country, you know, you don't want to totally hit the brakes because it takes your car down and the animal will roll up and fuck it up even worse.
Right.
You want to try to steer, but you want to, just lighten the impact, but not go down.
But you got to take that fucker out.
There
is what
was
you're
like
saying.
no-
Yeah, but you can't hit the brake. You got to
Yeah,
swerve,
right.
swerve and hit
Try
better
to
than
swerve
stop and
lightly
hit.
and
Because
maybe
he's gonna
hit a
roll
half
right
of
over
it.
you.
Well,
you
it
know.
goes through the windshield. A lot
Yeah,
of
that's
people
what
get
he
killed
said.
that
That's
way.
what I'm saying.
Right.
You brake hard like that or roll
A
up.
lot of people have died hitting deer that way. They come
Absolutely.
right through the windshield.
Yeah.
But there was no time to even think by the time he hit. And I barely let off the gas, and I hit this fucker, at least 80 plus, something like that.
80 miles an hour, you hit a
Easily.
cow?
Brought in between his legs, straight, because he was perpendicular in the road.
Yeah.
Hits the car, rolls up, smashes the windshield. There's blood, but it turns out it was none of ours. Fucker rolls off, falls. We kind of, go into the ditch sideways, and it kind of goes in, nose first. So we're like, fucking.
Pitch black.
Pitch black, and we're like, fucking, what's going on? Like this. And it's just like, So, and I'm thinking, I know I'm okay, and I know, okay. We're like, we're okay, and we're freaking out, 'cause we're fucking kids, and we just fucked it up bad. So, we get out, and I'm like, okay, everyone's all right. Well, the fucking cow was not dead yet, and it's just like,
It's suffering.
fucking. I felt bad. And then my buddy's cousin, who's like,
Mean stepdad's
who's
brand
like,
Camaro.
I mean, the cow's like half in the other ditch on the other side. Like, he was having a problem. So
He was having a problem.
he was. And so my buddy's cousin is crying. He just knows he's dead because of his, stepdad and all this
He was
shit.
a dick to
what
begin
we're
with.
gonna-
Or probably been beating him
Yeah.
already.
Yeah.
Probably been beating him already.
what the fuck are we gonna do? All this. There was a fucking garden hose, and like his stepdad and his mom went to like Lowe's or something and got a bunch of gardening shit. And so they had like a couple pallets of plants like in the back, because the trunk popped up in the back and the whole thing, and like a couple of like shovels and whatever, and they had a water hose. And I'm just like, we're free. What are we gonna do? I was like, we can just run and fucking just take off. Oh, we said blah 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 blah. And at 14, I decided, no, we're going to use that hose and we're going to put gas on this car and burn this motherfucker to the ground.
Oh, my God.
This is what we're going to do.
Barbecue.
Fucking, I'm like, here.
Who wants flank steak?
And his cousin's crying still, like, no, fucking.
This is like
the cow's still making noise. The cow's still not dead. It's a whole fucking. But this is like desolate road out in the country. Like it's just us out there.
No one's around. No one has noticed anything yet.
We were probably 2 miles from his mom's house, like where we picked him up. So sure enough, right? And we had cigarettes and shit, you know, and had a lighter and put the fucking hose, pumped it, got it going, doused the inside of the car with the gasoline, and then just fucking let it go. And I was like, we're gonna go, and we cut through a field. I was like, look, we're going back. Go inside and go to sleep. Here's the key. We took the keys, like put the keys back. You don't know shit. He wakes up in the morning. His keys are there. Where's my car? Some fuckers stole it. Or something, right? So I'm like, you don't know shit. D-Wayne. You don't know shit. Like that's it. That's all it is.
I would not be able to fucking act that out.
All he had to do was just not know anything, and we didn't know that he would do it. But we also didn't know, and also my dad was county judge in the town over, right? So if I'm getting caught with this is going to be like in the fucking paper, right? I mean, it's small town shit, and so I'm like, dude, look, you don't know anything. So we come. The father wakes up. We go home. I get the car. We go home. We're like, tell him, okay, fine. I go back home.
He gets his parents' car and goes home.
Right. Don't even think about it. Right. Turns out, because we don't have communication with him all the time, it turns out that the guy got up. The stepfather got up, went out there. Sees his keys there. The car's out there. What the fuck? Doesn't know what. Figure somebody stole it. Like that was what it was. Right. So the kid never said anything at all. But the stepfather, who was violent, was like really crazy. Fucking smacked the mom. Smacked the kid, and he'd been doing that shit before.
Just because he's mad, not because he was in on it.
Right, he's just that fucking guy or whatever. Ultimately, we never got caught. But two things. One, after that incident, that led to his mom separating from that guy.
Yeah.
So she finally got away from him. And then I found out even later that the guy went to jail for like 25 to life for some shit way after that for some reason, right?
But the smackdown because he was mad.
Yeah.
Right.
Triggered.
Because he was so mad, he got triggered, and then the mom realized it's a bad dude.
Time to go.
That's
so in a way, you destroying that cow and burning the car probably saved that kid's life.
But the kid held.
That's a great story.
He held.
He didn't
I'm
cave.
14. He was like 12 or 13, like young.
He had to sit on it.
Held and never said anything and just played dumb, because the keys were back in the dish. Like when it, whatever. Years later, I said something to my dad about this and told him what happened, right? And I was
really. I didn't. You told him?
Oh no. Just like this was maybe 10 years ago, something like that. Well, where that happened was just one county over, which is like 25 miles, something like that. So I told my dad what happened like that, and he goes, "You know what? I remember that story." Because it was in the paper, like there's a burned out Camaro on a country road with a dead cow in the ditch, and it kind of stood out for news at that time, But I didn't know about it.
What kind of alien shit's going on?
There was no
Chupacabra.
Right. So ultimately, somebody stole the Camaro and crashed it into a cow, and that was it. Yeah. So it works out.
My God, what a great story!
Fucking nailed that cow, dude. He rolled up over that thing.
Yeah.
We were all crying at one point.
Judd comes on strong right at the end of the podcast. Holy shit, man. Is that a good story?
I've learned not to do that. I tried one or two because I got away with the first two.
Wait, you?
No, I mean, I just what he's saying. Later,
but I mean, much later on, you're telling your mom the real story, and she still gets mad.
In the past 10 years or so, I got away. Like the first one, she liked it and understood and was cool about it. And the second one, and then it got to the third one, and then she didn't like the third one because we were making fake IDs and selling them.
Right.
And I don't remember what the first two stories were, but they were equally as harmless.
What's wrong with making fake IDs and selling them? We all were in search of the fake ID because
we were doing it at school, and we were then it all came to a head years later when one of my friends the girl who was one of the facilitators in this just happened to have her still in her purse a million years later and went home for the high school football game and got a little too tipsy. And the assistant principal whose office, he was so stupid we ran it all through his office. And he was 2 rows in front of her at the high school football game, and they got liquored, and he turned around and goes, "That's why you're just useless. That's why you're my secretary." And she goes, "Oh, really? This is when I was your secretary," and pulls out the fake ID and shows it to him, hands it down to him 2 rows. "I was your secretary because we ran an illegal ID making operation out of your office for 2 years, dumbass. That's why I was your secretary." And so that's the story where that's the part of the story where my mom went, "Now you didn't have to be," because she likes the guy. So all she took about it, "You didn't have to be mean to Mr. O'Shields."
Yeah.
Why were you mean to Mr. O'Shields? Well, Mr. O'Shields was a bus driver and he was a dick, and so fuck Mr. O'Shields.
All right, I got one, and then we can end the podcast. I had a moral dilemma in high school. So let's just say the gym teacher. Okay. And because I was an athlete and a bunch of us were athletes, we hung out with the gym teacher, a lot, and got to use his office whenever we wanted.
Sure.
One day we're fishing around his office, and there's a cork board. And I don't know what made us do it, but we moved the cork board, and there was a hole that went right in.
Oh no!
Right into the girls' locker room. The Porkies, 100% Porkies. And I know people listening to this right now is like, you're just telling a Porky story. No, this is the God's honest truth.
Those things work their way into scripts for a reason. Go ahead.
Then we're like, holy shit, blah blah's a creep. He's a fucking creep.
I thought he was cool, right?
But then we're like, but what do we do? Because now we get the office, like he goes home like, all right, guys, lock up when you're done, And we'd be shooting hoops in the gym, and we would have to take care of the equipment, and then our job, and the school was in on this, we were allowed to do all this, and you just lock the door and you go home. As soon as he left, and it's later in the day, kind of like now, like late afternoon, we have the office to ourselves, and let's just put it, the team practices are ending, and we're like, and we would take turns looking in the hole and looking at all the girls that we were in school with naked. And all these years later, I got kind of a moral dilemma about it, that I didn't fucking say anything.
I know. Well,
but it's hard because
the adult
got
mind,
the hormones going, and you're like, am I going to shut this off?
No,
I can't shut this off.
How old are you now? You're what, 62? I'm 70. You're 62. So it's hard to process the teenage Greg Hughes mind. That's not fair.
That's how I got to look at it.
I guess so.
Yeah, because
that's what they were trying to
Oh, my God. My teenage mind is completely different than my current mind. But we were like, what do we do? And then you felt guilty. You were looking, but it was such a major turn on. And then you're like, but that means the coach is a creep.
No, I know.
I wonder if... Now, we graduated and got out of there. I wonder if it continued after us. I wonder if we ever got caught. I wonder if he finally said, you know what, fuck it, I can't take any more chances, and he covered up the hole. But it was clear as day that this hole was made. Vic, this was fun, man, in your backyard like this.
It's nice, isn't it?
It's a beautiful night here in New York City. You could actually see stars in New York City.
Absolutely.
That's right.
Got a few stars up in the sky as the sun has gone down. All right, I think we should wrap this fucking podcast.
Wrap it up, Joey.
Wrap it up, Joey. Yes, Joe.
I did want to say something, if you don't mind.
Really?
Well, only because every once in a while I look at like the Facebook group for the Opie podcast and all this, and some people were, enough with the Carl memorials and all this stuff or whatever. Like you two guys,
we did it right.
Yeah. Well, this is the point. Like you two guys were closer to him than I was, but I had a ton of fun nights with him. Him and Vic would hang out. And all this, I can't imagine going through all of those one memorial after another. I mean, for somebody that close.
Yeah.
But you did a great service for him.
Thank you.
And the people that care, because those are just great quality, authentic.
Yeah.
People are saying the real thing about him, and fuck all that shit. And you even put something about like you're not sure which direction the podcast is going to go.
Yeah.
Just fucking keep doing it, dude.
Yeah, we just did it here.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
It was so much fun.
But don't,
Well,
I mean,
a couple things about
Sharon
that.
was down to come over today too, but then this was a limbo sort of fly by this. But he was in. We couldn't get it together. But.
Yeah, we'll get Sherrod next time. But a couple things about that. Anybody that's saying enough with the Carl thing, fuck those guys. They didn't give they didn't give a shit about Carl to begin with.
No one gets to tell somebody else how to
Secondly,
people are terrible.
Do you really think I wanted and Vic wanted to go through 10 or 12?
Exactly.
I did 10 or 12 episodes in New York, Brooklyn.
But the bigger point is you
California.
did a great service to him and anybody who cared about him, because that is some great stuff.
Thank you. Well, everyone wanted to tell the story and reach out about what Carl meant to him. in their lives, and I wanted to just get as much down on tape as possible for his mom, his brother, his family.
Absolutely.
Trust me, if it was up to me, I would have said fuck that, and I would have disappeared for a month or two, and then I would just be resurfacing now.
Yeah.
I didn't want
Understandably.
I wanted to do some of it, but then it was like, fuck, I felt like trapped. I'm like, I just gotta play this out all the way to Pig Beach, which finally was the last one. And even though we did, I think, something like 10 episodes that were all about Carl and remembering him, that only scratched the surface. I'm still hearing from people like, man, I wish I could have told my story on the podcast. But thank you, Joe. That means a lot, actually.
Good stuff.
I really appreciate it. All right, the helicopter.
It's been sirens all day. It's been sirens and helicopters all day.
The spotlight is directly on us.
The spotlight is on, though. They're looking for somebody.
That's right. Running through the park.
They're looking for the baby pigeon killer.
Me. Me, I'm right here. I'm right here.
I mean, like straight on us. Yeah. Wave at them.
We're out.
Boo, 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 boo.
Opie Radio.
Boo, 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 boo.
Boom, 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 boom.
Boo, 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 boo. Boo, 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 boo. Boo, boo. Boo, boo. Boo, boo. Boo, boo. Boo, boo. Boo, boo.